there is a technique, a manipulation that is done on a target of gang stalking, which will make the target interpret the things that people say around the target as them being about the target. Believe it or not, thinking that what people say around you is about you is one of the most devastatingly effective and underhanded manipulation tactics I have ever experienced. This manipulation tactic, for me, I call it programming or conditioning, is done by actually talking about the target, around the target, and painting these conversations as casual conversations. For example, if the target is here and I am having a conversation with someone else and I want to keep conditioning the target, what I would do is that I would say, God, what he was wearing was awful, don't you think? And I could possibly be facing the target and make sure that the target actually saw me look at him or her. I could say it with an enunciation that makes it obvious that the conversation is about the target. I would say things, for example, yeah, don't you think that his hair looks awful? And the target would know. These conversations that are masked as not being about the target are actually about the target, so that the target creates the thought, they're talking about me. They're talking about me. This is done many, many times. The purpose is for the target to know with certainty that these casual conversations about the target are actually about the target. After continuous exposure to listening to conversations where the target is indirectly mentioned or talked about, the target will start interpreting any conversation around the target as being about the target. The target's mind will try to match what is being said, and the target's mind will try to match what's being said to a related event or an actual reality about the target. The mind of the target is actually being conditioned to find connections of his or her own life and make it so that the conversation is about the target. It is that simple. That is the actual conditioning of the target's mind. This conditioning is self-perpetuating. So the more the target focuses on what is being said and agrees with the inclination, with the psychological inclination that the conversations around the target are about the target, the pattern of thought is being reinforced. The conditioning will only wear off if, while these conversations are happening, the target purposely focuses on something else, where the target reconditions his or her own mind to think about its own life and its own beautiful memories or thoughts that have absolutely nothing to do with gang stalking. The more obsessed the target becomes with the reality of gang stalking, the more permanent and the longer the conditioning is going to last. However, if the target, instead of focusing on what gang stalkers are doing, works his or her own imagination on remembering movies, thinking of music, thinking to oneself about the future, the target is destroying the conditioning. And this conditioning will last a really, really long time. Typically, this conditioning has to only be done a couple of times a year. As long as the target is focused on gang stalking, the conditioning will reinforce itself. The conditioning, if you know exactly how it's done, you can wear it off within the first day. And that is that you will actually build a pattern of thought where when you feel that someone is talking about you, you will form the habit of going into your own mind and thinking about something else or someone else that you like. Focusing on what gang stalkers are doing only gives them the power to control your mind. So you cannot be passive about your mind. You have to actively steer your mind in the direction that you want it to go at all times, particularly if you're getting gang stalked. If you are experiencing gang stalking, you literally have to not talk to anyone that perpetuates the gang stalking narrative. What I did was that whenever I would be talking to someone, I would imagine them doing the Macarena. For real. I would imagine them rolling on the floor or voguing while they were having the conversation with me. This was devastatingly effective against gang stalking. This is the logic. when you are talking it to people that you know that are gang stalkers. Let's say that you are at work and you cannot, and you know they're gang stalkers. So when you're talking to them, you're thinking that's a gang stalker. He's trying to manipulate me. He's trying to do this. You're continuously pushing the gang stalking narrative. However, if you're talking to a gang stalker and you just think of them talking to you and imagine them rolling on the floor while they're talking to you, gang stalkers are going to think that you're actually thinking about gang stalking. However, the fact that you are imagining them rolling on the floor or doing stupid things, you are officially not thinking about gang stalking. You are officially thinking of them as dancing. So you are replacing the thoughts that should be about gang stalking, that gang stalkers know that you're having, with the thoughts of gang stalkers being clowns or dancing around or rolling on the floor. That way, your mind is not focused on manipulation, on you being manipulated, nor on the gang stalking narrative. You are literally just focused on what is being said, and you are not allowing your mind to create any conclusions that perpetuate the gang stalking narrative. You are changing the narrative to your coworkers voguing and rolling on the floor. When I began doing this, I realized that that is exactly what the mechanism behind gang stalking was. Because I changed my pattern of thought, therefore everything about gang stalking changed. The actual gang stalking narrative changed. I changed the entire thing. It became a joke. It didn't exist anymore. It wasn't against me. However, I was so overworked because I worked 3 days a week at 4 in the morning. I then had a full-time job, and then I went to the gym. So I didn't realize how exhausted I was. That's why in all my videos I look like shit, because I have been literally just sleeping for like the past 3 weeks, and I'm barely just coming to like look more or less normal. I still look exhausted. Anyways, if you're getting gang stalked, you will know that these techniques about how to deal with gang stalking are real, right? Are true, because you can try them with your gang stalking operation, and you will see that they are immediately effective. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Evan Rodriguez, and I have been gang stalked for 7 years. This channel began as a journal, and because of gang stalking and because of the ways that I have had to learn to use my mind, I have discovered a lot of ways to literally steer your mind in the direction that you want it to go, which is the most healthy thing you can do, because you are literally not allowing your environment to dictate any part of your psyche or of your mind or of your thoughts that typically life would dictate. So how someone who isn't getting gang stalked can use this is that, let's say that you are talking to someone, right? Or you are in a situation where you know that it's not going to be fun, but you, for some reason or the other, just have to be there. I'm not sure if this is called disassociation, but you can disassociate psychologically from any situation while still being there. For example, if you are talking to someone who you know is trying to fuck you, that is trying to making you have a bad time, you just feel it in your gut. What you do is that you literally just imagine them talking to you while they're voguing or while they're juggling fire or something so absurd that every aspect of your imagination is busy. That way, when you are just, after this, let's say, unfortunate situation has taken place. However, the entire situation you were imagining the person juggling plates or juggling fire, your mind will try to ruminate, because that is what the mind does. However, your rumination is going to be about the person juggling the fire or rolling on the floor or voguing, whatever it was that you imagined the person doing. Your ruminating will be funny. Seriously. So that is how I began to understand all these concepts about gang stalking, because a lot of the gang stalking is about rumination. So if the moments that you're supposed to be ruminating, you make them a super fun and an incredibly entertaining experience where your enemy or your nemesis is like dancing the Macarena, rolling on the floor, or vomiting while they're talking to you, that is the memory that you're going to keep in your mind. That is going to be the reality of your mind. So therefore, you won't have anything to ruminate about. And that is how you control your reality. So whenever you are whenever you are in a fortunate situation where you know that you are going to be ruminating about it later, you change the narrative, you imagine a fun narrative. And it is technically disassociation because you are disassociating the actual reality. But when you know that someone has an agenda that is supposed to be hurtful to you, to your well-being, this type of reimagining of what your reality will be, of what your memories will be about the situation, you're taking away this thing. And ruminating about what someone does to you is never good for the soul. It is never good for the person. And not only that, but when this event is happening, if your mind is busy and you are in the moment, you're in the moment, however, you are just imagining as much of it as possible as the person rolling on the floor or doing the Macarena or just doing something stupid. You're still going to be able to see what's happening around you and you're going to know what are the intentions of the person. However, you are taking away all this thing. And because of that, the memories that you're going to have in your mind of this situation is that you're going to know what the intentions of the person were. However, you are making their intent of causing you distress completely futile because you will not be distressed. You will be having fun. And therefore, you are not dodging bullets because you don't have to dodge anything. You're there. You know what's happening. However, there's no emotional damage. And you know what the intentions of the person are. And you literally just, all the arrows, all the attacks are going to go over. You're going to be untouched. You're going to be Neo from the Matrix. You don't even going to have to dodge bullets. That is what the Matrix is about, is that you have all your power here. And that you don't even have to dodge bullets, but you can work your mind to recreate your reality. Therefore, when the attacks are being given at you, you're going to be able to see everything. However, you are recreating your reality where everyone is just doing the Macarena. Therefore, how you're going to look while you're doing this psychological technique, you're going to be completely unfazed. You're going to know what's actually happening. You're going to be completely indifferent and you're going to be laughing. And not only that, but you're just going to be like, oh, okay. And to whoever is trying to hurt you, you are going to appear as untouchable and unforgettable because you will be making yourself untouchable and unforgettable because you are there, but you're creating a reality where everyone is making a fool of themselves. You are Neo in that situation. That is what you do with your mind. You are literally not allowing your senses to dictate your reality. Your consciousness is dictating your reality. And therefore, you're gonna just leave if you have to, if you feel like it. And then you know who the clowns are. And you will know to steer away from those people. And it's that simple. This psychological tactic is beneficial to anyone getting gang stalked or not. And yeah, if you don't know me, my name is Efren Rodriguez. This is the Gang Stalking Playbook. And you don't have to believe anything that I say. However, when you listen to this, you know that I'm right. And if you don't know that I'm right, give it a shot. You can do this anywhere, in any conversation. And when you recall the conversation, you're going to recall what it is that you imagined happened during the conversation. And once these techniques of mine work for you, give me a like, give me a subscribe. That's all I ask, or share these techniques with someone. And keep watching my videos because they're going to help you to literally alleviate any type of bad experience that you will have in the future. Because let's be honest, those situations are inevitable. However, you have more control over your mind than you can possibly imagine. All right? Thanks so much for watching. Bye.